Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel Mechanical Engineering Exams Made Simple. In this video, we will see some more questions for your AMVA friends from various aspects of your automobile engineering. First one, the dash tool is used to remove piston rings. It is called, actually piston ring is going to seal the clearance space between the cylinder walls and the piston, so that there is no leakage across this particular space. So which tool is used to remove the piston rings? Is it a piston ring grinder or compressor or expander or tester? This is actually, it is the piston ring expander which is used for doing this activity. The wall spring, okay, it is not shown actually, figure given below is held by. So normally we can expect that wall spring is held by which of these elements? Spring retainer split lock or tappet or cam or guide. It is going to be held by a spring retainer split lock. Wall spring is held by spring retainer split lock, neither the tappet, cam, lobe. Actually cams are going to operate the inlet valve opening and closing, so it is not the, and tappet, no, guide. So spring retainer split lock, that is the correct answer. After fitting the rings on the piston, it is inserted in the cylinder with the help of a special tool called. So what is this tool for doing this particular activity? So it is actually a ring compressor. First one expander, this is the compressor. So what does it do? It is inserted. So after fitting the rings on the piston, so it is inserted in the cylinder with the help of a ring compressor. That is the answer. The main reason for making piston out of aluminum alloy is that we know friends, aluminum has very less density compared to steel. That is the main attracting factor for using aluminum pistons. Others are not the correct answer. They wear less, they absorb shocks. There is no question of absorbing shocks friends. Actually cast iron absorbs shocks more. That's why machine tool beds are made by the cast iron. Okay, because while doing machining operations, a lot of vibrations are set up in the machine bed. That's why your cast iron is used for the machine beds, but not for this reason. So the main reason for the pistons being made out of aluminum is that they are light in weight. They are especially very useful in aircraft and naval applications, in the engines of the aircraft and naval applications, because actually there the weight required should be as minimum as possible, the weight of the elements. So among the following lubricating oils, which one has the highest viscosity? ACIE means Society for Automotive Engineers. It is a American society friends. It is going to grade the lubricating oils. So these are the grades: SAE 30, 40, 50 and 80. So now the question is, which has the highest viscosity? The correct answer is 80. The more the number, the more the viscosity. The less the number, the less the viscosity. In an opposed piston engine, what is the location of the combustion chamber? Is it above the piston? So it is mentioned that the engine is in which the pistons are opposed to each other. So here, what is the location of the combustion chamber? Above the piston or below the piston, or in the space between the two pistons, or none of the above? So definitely it has to be in the space between the two pistons if the engine is having opposed pistons. The exhaust pipes of a stationary engine are covered with insulating material in order to, why? What is the reason for the exhaust pipes of stationary engines are being covered with insulating material? Insulating means it is going to prevent any heat loss. Okay, so but what is the reason? It is to keep the exhaust pipes warm or increase engine efficiency or reduce heat transfers to engine room or conserve heat. It is to reduce the heat transfer to engine room. That is the reason for insulating the covering of the stationary engine exhaust pipes with the insulating material. Now, back pressure in an engine increases if, what will be its effect on the fuel consumption? Definitely, it is going to increase the fuel consumption. It is going to be disadvantageous. So definitely, we should ensure that back pressure is as minimum as possible. Now, next question is, in order to eliminate knocking in a compression ignition engine, there should be, right, What's the correct answer? Short delay period or late auto ignition, low compression ratio, high self ignition temperature of the fuel. So definitely high compression ratios are going to increase the knocking tendency. But what is knocking? It is the uncontrollable pressure rise on the expansion stroke in a engine. Okay, so what is the correct reason for this? The correct reason for this is short delay period. All right. So the phenomenon of knocking is different in the different engines. For example, SI engine and CI engines. In the SI engines, it is the last charge in the combustion chamber that is going to detonate or subjected to knocking. Whereas in case of diesel engine, it is the initial or fresh charge or initial charge, front charge, okay, at the TDC, which is going to be affected by or which is going to result in the detonation or knocking. Actually, because the basic reason for this is that the combustion phenomenon in both the engines, SI and CI engines, are totally reversed, opposed. Right. Actually, what will happen, friends? If you are in case of SI engine, if the, let us say, definitely the last charge, because the initial charge at the TDC, it is going to be burning at the because of the initiation of the spark. But actually, because of the heat which is given out by the combustion of the initial charge, the last charge around your BDC, bottom dead center, it is going to reach the temperature of ignition. So another flame front will start from that side, BDC side. So both the flame fronts, because of the flame fronts simultaneously starting from TDC and BDC, there is going to be a lot of pressure rise, a lot of heat is generated, and a lot of pressure rise, sudden pressure rise or uncontrollable pressure rise even on the your power stroke, so that it is going to result in the phenomenon is known as knocking. The most effective air cleaner in case of diesel engine is, what is the most effective air cleaner? Is it dry type or wet type or whirl type or oil bath type? It is the oil bath type. This oil bath type air cleaner is the effective one, most effective one in case of a diesel engine. There are various types of oil cleaners are there, like dry type, wet type, whirl type and oil bath type. Now, high sulfur content in diesel oil, if used in diesel engine, will lead to what of these? Which of these phenomenon? Is it the production of high corrosive gases, corroding cylinder walls and exhaust system, excessive engine wear, damaging both storage tank and the engine, or reduction in thermal efficiency? It is going to result in the first one, that is production of highly corrosive gases, corroding cylinder walls and exhaust system. This is very, very dangerous, friends. We will ensure that in most of the fuels there is no sulfur. Sulfur is definitely going to take part in the combustion process. It is going to give off heat, no problem. But actually, if it is present in the fuel, what will happen is it is going to react with the oxygen present in the your air, and it is going to form sulfur dioxide. If this sulfur dioxide in the exhaust gases is left out to the atmosphere through the exhaust pipe, if for example, then this sulfur dioxide is going to react with the water vapor present in the air, and it is going to form H2SO4 or sulfuric acid. So definitely this is going to cause what is known as rains, acid rains. So your rainwater is polluted with the help of is polluted with sulfuric acid. So if this sulfuric acid is there in the rains, it is going to affect the fertility of the soil. So we will ensure that, mostly we will ensure that there is no sulfur in the your fuels, automobile engine fuels. So not only that, it is going to produce highly corrosive gases, that's for example sulfur dioxide, and the sulfur is a very, very reactive gas, friends. It is going to corrode the cylinder walls and exhaust system. That is the correct reason. Next, which of these causes reduction of exhaust noise? Is it muffler or exhaust pipe, exhaust manifold or tailpipe? Exhaust manifold is a short pipe after the exhaust valve, and exhaust pipe is then muffler or tailpipe. It is actually the muffler which causes the reduction of exhaust noise. That's why we see that mufflers are used in the automobile engines. Correct? Right. It is muffler. Now, which engine part serves the purpose of smoothing out impulses from the engine? Is it flywheel or camshaft or crankshaft or clutch? Clutch is used to engage or disengage the driver and driven shaft, that is your gearbox shaft and your engine shaft at the will of the operator or driver. Crankshaft, it is the shaft, it is the output shaft where we get the power, output power, that's called your brake power. What is your indicated power? It is a power generated in the cylinder with the combustion of the gases. What is camshaft? It is the shaft on which cams are mounted, and cams are going to operate the closing and opening of the engine inlet and exhaust valves. But it is a flywheel that is going to serve the purpose of the smoothing out impulses from the engine. So that's why it is called mechanical capacitor. So it is going to absorb the energy during power stroke. It is going to release the energy during the power deficient or energy deficient strokes. For example, suction, compression and exhaust. So your flywheel, if it is to be simply expressed in one word, it is going to act as a mechanical capacitor, something like an electrical capacitor, which is going to charge and discharge during the operation of an electrical circuit. So flywheel is the correct answer. Right. The coolant temperature sensor is a thermostat to give transformation of temperature to what? It is to ECM. The coolant temperature sensor is a thermostat to give information of temperature to ECM. It is something called electronic control circuit or something like that. Okay, friends? Right. Cold chisels are made by the process of what? Drawing or rolling. It's a manufacturing operation. These are all drawing, rolling, forging and piercing. In the forging and rolling, basically the force responsible for the manufacturing process is the compressive force. Drawing is the tensile force. Piercing is something also like a tensile force. So but actually he is asking, cold chisels are made by the which process? Is it drawing or rolling or forging or piercing? These are manufactured by forging, cold chisels. Forging is also very important operation where we need uniform density mechanical components, because actually that particular bar or billet is subjected to compressive force. So there is no question of any defects in the forged parts, and the stress distribution will be uniform, and the density of the components which are produced by forging process is very high. So cold chisels are made by the process of forging. Now, casting is it a surface finishing process or machining process or primary shaping process or joining process? What is this? It is basically, casting is a primary shaping process. Primary shaping process. Surface finishing operation, we have got various things, friends: lapping, honing, etc. Machining process, we are having what you call turning, then you are shaping, planning, etc., milling, etc. And joining process is nothing but your welding process. But casting is a primary shaping process in which molten metal is poured into the molds of the shape of the pattern, and after the solidification it is going to give the same component as the your pattern. So that's why it is a primary shaping process. Finally, what is the symptom of atmospheric air entering the water cooling system of a multi-cylinder diesel engine? So what is the symptom? Overheating of the engine, coolant becoming viscous, coolant becoming reddish, coolant becoming greenish. What is the correct one? It is actually coolant becoming reddish. So because of this particular, that means atmospheric air enters the water cooling system in a multi-cylinder diesel engine, so it is going to result in the coolant becoming reddish. Right. So we have seen in this video some good questions from your point of view of AMVI examination for your automobile engineering. In the next video, we are going to come up with some more good questions, very important questions and very tricky questions from your examination point of view. Let us meet in the next video. See you all shortly.